What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to go over something that I thought was kind of a cool thing. For instance, did you guys know that there are Panthers down in Florida? And I'm sure you guys did, basically because I'm pretty sure they have a football team named the Florida Panthers, so I guess that makes a lot of sense that there would be. But the thing is like Panthers were sort of nearly driven to extinction down in Florida. They used to be a lot more common, a lot more wild, and there were like attempts to reintroduce them into it by just taking Panthers somewhere else and putting them in Florida. From what I can find, though, none of those attempts were really successful. But then again, it doesn't really seem like anyone's really cared all that much. That being said, you can still see Panthers in Florida. There was a small population that managed to survive down in the Everglades. Um, Maybe not in the Everglades. We're going to find out exactly where they're at in this article. But this is basically where you guys can go to see wild panthers in Florida. So before we get into that, though, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, follow me on all of my social medias, which will be listed at the end of the video, and drop a comment down below with, have you guys ever seen a Florida panther? I would really like to know, along with what you guys thought of the article and any thoughts you might have for me to cover in the future. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into this, the Panthers of Florida. So like I always like to say, guys, I don't own the rights to these articles. I simply use them to pass along information. This particular article belongs to floridastateparks.org. If you guys would like, please go over there and show them some love. But if not, we're going to go through this anyway, so just stick around in the video. So it's fun. Florida State Parks even has the Florida Panther on it. So that's how, like, just common it was. Where to see the Florida Panther? Pretty good picture of a panther, but I'm not 100% sure if that's actually in Florida or not. Every year on the third Friday of May, we observe Endangered Species Day. At Florida State Parks, we protect wildlife habitat by managing these critical lands and waters. Every day, we take special care of the habitats of endangered species. Visitors sometimes ask whether they are most likely to see the elusive Florida panther. Florida panthers are reclusive and normally live in remote, undeveloped areas. That means they are rarely seen by people. So this is panthers and bobcats. The Florida panther, Puma concolor cori, is one of two native cat species in Florida, the other being the bobcat, Lynx rufus. Adult panthers are brown, about 5 to 7 feet long, and can weigh between 60 to 160 pounds. From a distance, visitors cannot mistake the panther for another animal if they see its tail. A panther's tail is as long as its body. Bobcats are much smaller than the Florida panther, and their tails are about 1/3 their body length. Florida panther kittens are gray with dark brown or blackish spots and 5 bands around the tail. The spots gradually fade as the kittens grow older and by 6 months are almost unnoticeable. Yeah, so that's actually how they hide. The spots break up their outline better. And those basically just kind of just lay there, and if you could come right up on one and it won't move, and you probably wouldn't know it's there until you saw one, then it'd be kind of obvious. And when they're born, they're the size of house cats. So to be honest with you, you'd probably just think they were a house cat. So this is a good picture of a panther, right? So I love, like, the reflection of the water really sells this one for me. But this is like it. It looks like it's big, it's slender, it's got this long, nice tail, and it's just completely gray. But if you scroll down, that is a bobcat. As you guys see, bobcats pretty much, they keep their spots. They look like big Manx cats, if you guys know what a Manx cat looks like. Their eyes and their head are pretty much different, and their ears stay longer, and they're like straight up. So it's basically just because like panthers are hunting bigger prey than bobcats. Bobcats mainly go after rabbits and stuff. So they have to have those long legs so they can cover like the distances, basically hop like rabbits do. How many panthers are there? Florida panthers are classified as an endangered species under the Federal Endangered Species Act of 1973. An endangered species is an animal or plant that is at risk of extinction. It is illegal to harm or harass an endangered species in any way. It is estimated there are approximately 120 to 230 adult panthers in Florida. So that's not a lot, relatively speaking. I mean, consider pretty much, since you can find panthers all the way from like Canada all the way down to Mexico. It's kind of like, so that's their range, but there's only about 230 adults at best down in the panhandle. All right, what do panthers eat? Panthers need large connected areas with suitable food to survive. Florida panthers are carnivores, which means they only eat meat. They eat other animals they can stalk and capture, like white-tailed deer and wild hogs, but smaller mammals such as raccoons, armadillos, and rabbits are also on the menu. So pretty much whatever they can catch, they'll eat it, is kind of what that means. Where do Florida panthers live? Florida panthers occur in the peninsula of Florida, primarily south of Orlando. Female panthers have been documented only in South Florida, which is where all known breeding occurs. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has documented males as far north as Georgia. Florida panthers prefer a dense understory of vegetation where they can hunt their prey, rest, and provide dens for their cubs. They prefer forested areas, pinelands, tropical hardwood hammocks, and a mixed freshwater swamp forest. So that makes sense to me. The females probably would normally, just like it's kind of like, think about it, okay? Like the females are going to stay in an area because females don't necessarily need a bigger range. It'll probably be like one male overlapping his territory with like two or three females' territory. And the females will just kind of stay in one spot. But the males, the younger males, they got to go out. So those are the ones that are traveling up north from the panhandle, and they're like trying to establish new territories and find new females. Uh, which that's just so you know, because the older males are going to drive them out, and that's just, it's pretty much how all cats work, and mostly most things like lions will do that too. The younger, like the females, will stay close and stay by, and then the males will drive out the younger males, and they'll go and start a new pride. Pretty much what panthers do, but panthers are more solitary, so they're not necessarily looking to make a pride. He's just looking to establish a new territory somewhere where there's not already another adult panther that's going to kick him out, or at least one that he could beat possibly and just take over his territory. All right, now for the good stuff. Where might I see a Florida panther? Seeing a Florida panther is a memorable experience. Visitors might see a Florida panther at one of these state parks. Fakahatchee Strand Preserve State Park serves as the western gateway to the Everglades. Some visitors are lucky enough to see fresh panther tracks or one of the big cats at a distance. The park's swamps, towering royal palms, and bromeliad-covered trees provide more than 77,000 acres of habitat for Florida panthers. Watch for panthers on a tram ride down Jane's Scenic Drive. So that's cool. Just go ride a tram, you can see a big cat. Collier Seminole State Park, located just of Naples, is known for its beautiful royal palms. Canoeing on the Blackwater River, visitors who keep watch might see a Florida panther like early in the day or late in the evening. That one's collared, and I'm just going to go ahead and say that one's probably on a golf course. Two Florida panthers are permanent residents at Ellie Schiller Homosas Springs Wildlife State Park. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Like the other native wildlife that residents in the park, they serve as ambassadors for their species. Unable to survive in the wild on their own, these two cats provide an opportunity for visitors to learn about their story. So they were probably found as cubs, I think, and honestly, maybe you guys can let me know if you've actually met these panthers. But what they basically, it just means like they can't be returned to the wild, so now they're ambassadors doing essentially what I'm doing, except way cooler, because in person they'll actually bring these cats to you and you can explain to you about them in person. I know normally I let you guys read this, but if you guys do want to help, the Florida panther faces numerous threats due to an increasing human population and development in their habitat. Most fatalities occur when Florida panthers are accidentally hit by motorists. You want to protect them, drive slowly. When you're in your Florida panther habitat, they are most active between dusk and dawn, so be alert, protect their habitats, and observe panther crossing signs and road laws. Okay, so that was a little bit of just some facts about Florida panthers. I guess kind of just panthers in general, actually, because that pretty much covered what all panthers do. And we do keep calling them panthers. They're actually technically mountain lions, cougars, pumas. It's all the same type of cat, so you could technically call them whatever you would like. But I guess scientifically, they are known as Florida panthers. And there goes a few spots. If you guys live down in Florida and you want to go see them, I'm assuming it's probably not a far drive for most people who live down in Florida. Let me know though, guys. Have you guys ever seen a panther down in Florida, down in the Everglades, any of the state parks that were mentioned on there? Have you ever just seen a panther in real life? I honestly haven't seen a wild one. I would really like to. I've seen their tracks and I've seen their scats, so like signs that they were there. But I've never actually seen a living mountain lion out in the wild. So I would like to know if you guys have. Also, like I said before, please remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and follow me on my social medias, which will be coming up next. And until next time, guys, I will see you in the next video.